Hey, I'm Avi Dell, and I'm going to talk about my song Home in the Reckoning. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Avi Dell. I'm a singer-songwriter. I have presence on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If you're interested, you can check out and learn more about me throughout all of those platforms. But for now, I'm just going to talk about this song, Home in the Reckoning, and give a little bit of insight to the process and what recording this song was like and what it means to me and kind of what milestone this is for my career. I got COVID, and in about a week of isolating, I was alone with a guitar and started writing again. And this song, Home in the Reckoning, is one of the first that came out of me. When deciding to make these songs, a couple commitments that I made to myself. Commitment one was that every song was going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It was going to have to be a story. And the second commitment was that they were going to have to be songs that I had never written before, stuff that as a songwriter earlier in my life I had never touched. And I think everyone can relate to the idea that you don't want to repeat the mistakes of your parents, people that raised you, people that brought you into the world. A big piece of my 30s was how I was different than them. So in many ways, this song is a little bit of a reflection and an examination of my relationship with what I thought was both expected of me and what I thought was really calling my heart and what would bring me joy in this life. And if I'm going to do it, I want to do it on my terms. So in creating the song, I painted this picture of a domestic abuse situation. A son comes home, he's sitting at the dinner table. For the first time in his life, he understands the dynamic between his father and his mother as an abusive one and as one that is not normal. And he realizes that he needs to set it right. As the only son, as the only potential power that could stand up to the power of his father, he recognizes that he needs to be the redeemer of his mother and the protector. As the only son, it fell on me, and the years had broken her down to her knees, had to set it right as the only son that fell on me. So I waited in the dark and triggered a loud bang, and what came was a horrible scream, and in that flash of light, I made damn sure and I set her free. It's a dark story. The idea is that this guy kills his father in pursuit of saving his mother. And by no means do I condone any kind of violence or gun violence, anything like that. It's not at all what this is about. But what this is about is killing the idea that you have to be your father to succeed or to grow up. And what I love, I was able to bring the story around, is that it needed done, but revealed the monster in me. At night, I lay in the dark and fear the demon released. What kind of man, what kind of father would I be? Earlier in the song, the refrain is, what kind of man, what kind of father was he? And that's as this guy is recognizing and seeing for the first time, Dad is kind of a terrible person and he's an abuser and he needs to be stopped. And what kind of man, what kind of father is he? And as a result, what kind of man am I? Well, I'm a man who's going to fix things. I'm going to step in and I'm going to save my mother and I'm going to set this right, even if I have to reveal a demon deep inside of me and confront this evil that maybe I don't know exists within me, but it must exist within me if I'm of my father and my father is in me. So I'm going to take that anger and I'm going to take that violence and I'm going to do good with it. And so I kill him and I ultimately save and protect my mother. But now I'm forced to live in a world where I had to do the ultimate wrong to create an ultimate right. And there's this great challenge and conundrum of identity. What kind of man, what kind of father would I be? And so I wanted to give a voice to that kind of experience. I have a friend who shared with me once that their father had abusive tendencies and that they were working to make sense of the world, knowing that the home that they had grown up in was not a home that they wanted to recreate for their family and their children. It was in revisiting that story and those shared experiences of my friend, who will remain nameless, that I felt like I could tell this story honestly. And obviously this friend of mine didn't kill his father and it wasn't that severe. But in exploring the story and how to tell it, something about that violence was important to pinnacleize the drama that I was trying to display. And I think for myself, what I can relate to most is that laying in bed and just thinking, who am I going to be? Am I bound to my own destiny because of who my father is? Or will I break out of that? And if I break out of that, do I have tools and methods at my disposal that are not, in fact, just of the thing I'm trying so hard to rid myself of? And how do you reconcile those things? Musically, when we were creating the song, I really wanted it to feel both longing and mournful, and it doesn't really have a chorus. The chorus is just the woes, because I wanted the song to be almost, to feel like prayer and to feel dark. And after the part where the main character is laying in bed, what's done is done, and now they are forced to live with the consequences of their actions, the song turns into a almost schizophrenic kind of episode where it loses time and it loses itself, and the music sort of becomes disruptive unto itself, as though in a psychiatric episode, just the falling apart, the degradation of one's own sense of self. I wanted the drum kit to fall apart, and you can actually hear, we disassembled the drum kit, and we have pieces of the instrumentation breaking and moving and falling and being played in a way that's not conventional, but still making music. And then the song totally ends. And like a phoenix in the night, you hear from a distance the rumble of guitar coming, building into this huge crescendo with organ. And this, for me, can only be described as triumphant music, and that energy and that excitement that comes from both knowing that you've done all that you can do and knowing that you in fact are on the right course by staying clear and by staying focused on what it is you want to do. That sort of is what the music is representing. And then just as soon as you catch the order of the chaos, it then falls back out of time and loses itself once again. And just as it started, it ends in disarray and chaos. And I guess that's my effort to convey all of these things and all of these emotional feelings in a song. This is the first song released off of my first solo record, Surrenderer. And I'm incredibly proud of this song and the work that we've created. And just a special shout out to my friend John Riley, who is the drummer on this. He wasn't actually the studio drummer. Another wonderful drummer, Jordan Berman, was the drummer. But when we went back and we listened to it, I just felt like we hadn't quite captured the emotionality and the energy that I had wanted. So we sent the tracks to John remotely. And in Pittsburgh, John was able to record them in his home studio. He re-recorded the drums and sent it back to us. And I'm proud of the way that the song turned out. And I'm so very hopeful that it can connect to people for all of the reasons that I've described. Everything from its lyrical content to its musical content. And what's so cool about this is it's not a song to live alone in its space, which is really at odds with the way that we make music today. I mean, we're just an industry built on singles. For me, I really wanted to make a record that has a cohesive storyline throughout. This being the first on the release really kind of defies conventional song structure. And but I believe it's a fierce intro to what the rest of the record holds. Once again, Avi Dell, avidell.com. You can find music and content everywhere. Another piece of this that I should probably talk about is in the graphic novel that accompanies it. I had this idea about 6-7 months ago. As I was preparing to release these songs, I realized, in accordance with my first commitment, every song tells a story. And I was hanging out with my nieces and nephews who are in their early teens, and everything they consume is graphic novels. All the stories, even classics, Mice and Men, are in graphic novel form now. And it occurred to me, why don't I connect with some creative illustrators, and why don't I have them make their own visual representations of the songs? For this particular song, I've been so lucky, and I've connected with a different illustrator for every song on the record, which I'll speak about more at a different time. But this song, I connected with this incredible artist, Regina, from Art by Courage, and she made this brilliant 4-page graphic illustration that tells the story of the struggle of the son, depicting the father not as a human but as a demon, which I think is really great. And I encourage you to check it out. It's all available on my website, avidell.com. And I think that's all I want to say for now.